Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house. I'm here with Jayson from Burton, and he's going to run us through the All Mountain Board ladder for Burton for the 22-23 season. Let's check these out. All right, first up at $420, we have the Ripcord, probably one of the best boards to learn on.
Yeah, I've definitely got some really good technologies that we've taken from some of our learn to ride stuff, where it's people's first day on snow, some stuff we've learned with our kids stuff. So if you're a beginner to intermediate rider, riding a few days a year, Ripcord is definitely one of the best boards for that. It does have just a slight amount of taper, which means the front part of the board's a little bit wider than the back, so it just changes directions, initiates turns really well, has the flat top bend, so flat to the middle, early rides. It's a really soft flexing board, so it turns really well at low speeds. And then also the easy bevel base like we use, so it does have a bevel in the base here, so it's not perfectly flat. So that just makes the board a lot more forgiving, a little more catch free.
Snowboarding is not a hard thing to learn in general, but if you want to make it even easier, Ripcord is definitely the board for you. So next up at $440, we have the Instigator. So with this one, basically, we're just getting a little bit lighter core in this, right?
Yeah, a little lighter core, but the chassis of the board is definitely different than the Ripcord. So it still has a little bit of taper to it. It does come in a couple different bends. This one does come in the flat top with the early rise, a lot like the Ripcord, but it also comes with the pure pop. So you can get something with just a little bit of camber underneath that gives you a little bit more stability. And it also has we call cruise control in the front. So it does have that base bevel just in the front of the board versus all the way continuously around. So the board tracks really straight, floats really well, deeper snow. But again, a great board for somebody that's either starting out, or if recreational rider, not riding a ton, or if you're looking for a really good value on a free ride board.
I always say this was that beginner to intermediate board, but it's good for people that have maybe rented a few times and you've already kind of got a little bit of snowboarding underneath your feet, or if you're somebody who catches on to stuff really fast and you're not going to outgrow the performance on it really quick. All right, then next up at $550, we have the Process, which is a pretty amazing board. This is Mark McMorris's board, basically. This thing he rides almost no matter what he's doing. He does ride some other boards in the backcountry, but if he's riding park, if he's cruising the entire mountain, this thing really bridges that gap between park boards and all mountain boards. So for that extra couple bucks, we're getting a little bit nicer core.
You're getting a little better fiberglass too, so you're getting the Tri-X glass, so stiffer, more pop, more stability at higher speeds. You're also getting a sintered base, so sintered bases are faster, they hold wax better, they're more durable. So yeah, just better ingredients. It's pretty much got everything you need and nothing you don't. So.
Yeah. And this board does come in two different bends also. It does come in the Flying V, which is the rocker with the camber underneath your feet. It also comes in the Pure Pop, which is more of a traditional camber with a little bit of a flat spot, so you still get a little bit of that catch free. Then also if you're riding boxes and rails and stuff in the park, you get a little bit more of a flat spot that's more stable to sit on. But great all mountain board for that intermediate to advanced rider who wants one board that can do absolutely everything. All right, and then jumping up to $630, we're getting another board that's actually pretty good for that park to POW rider. And this one, if you're riding a park, you're probably hitting some of the bigger stuff in the park. You're probably not just tooling around, hitting little rails and little jumps. But again, a great board that can ride those big features in the park and ride the rest of the mountain. So with the Freethinker, we definitely got a lot of good upgrades in this board, don't we?
Yeah, heading into this one, we do get the carbon highlights. So again, carbon on the bottom side of the core, running tip to tail. We've got strips that run the entire length of the board. So anytime you're removing fiberglass and adding carbon, you're definitely getting a big weight savings, but also just the ride of the board is going to have a lot more energy and a lot more feedback.
Yeah, when you flex carbon and fiberglass, obviously they're going to snap back, but carbon is just that material that does snap back faster, so you get that extra spring. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize, you actually get more stability too. If you land a little heavy on the front and you flex that carbon, it wants to put itself back down into its original position, so it actually helps put you into your original riding position too. And then on this one too, we're also doing a little bit nicer base.
So going to the sintered WFO base, so has wax impregnated into the base, and also the material is a little bit harder and more porous than our standard sintered bases. So just faster and last longer.
So great board for that intermediate to advanced rider, especially if you're riding park. You're probably in a very advanced park rider. But again, one board that can do everything. All right, and then next up we have pretty much one of the longest running all mountain, go anywhere, do anything boards in the universe. Yes, I said universe. The Burton Custom. This is definitely a board that can do everything. So obviously very similar price to the Deep Thinker, a lot of very similar guts going into it. What sets this apart from the Thinker?
Yeah, so the Custom is definitely our most tried and true. I mean, if you want one board that does everything well at every level of riding, this board does everything. So what makes it a little bit different than, let's say, like a Free Thinker is that it is actually directional in shape, but it is twin flex. So when you're at the reference points, you're in the center of the contact points. You just got a little taller nose. So this thing rides, switch the same as it's gonna ride forward. You just got a little taller nose height, so it does give you that little extra float in deeper snow conditions. It does have the same, construction, still the carbon highlights, sintered WFO. Not quite as deep of a side cut as like what a Free Thinker. So this board tracks really straight, turns really smooth. Guys that ride pipe, that they like something that doesn't have a crazy deep side cut, so it tracks really straight up pipe walls. It's just one of the most dialed chassis out there.
This actually does come in two different bends as well. It comes in a classic camber, and then it also comes in the flying V with the rocker in between your feet and the camber under your feet. So if you are that intermediate to advanced style rider and you're just not sure what board to get, the Custom is definitely the board you want. Nobody hates this board. It will ride everywhere, and it's gonna give you more performance than you'll ever need in your lifetime. All right, and as if the Custom wasn't amazing enough, at $840 we have the Custom X. So this is the Custom, but there is a lot more going on inside this than the standard Custom, right?
Yep, kind of like you said, it's the same chassis, same mold, so exact same shape as the Custom. Stepping up to this, you do get our Dragonfly core, so it has a much more intricate core. The way we lay up the wood grains, everything too is drops the weight of the board quite a bit. So in addition to the carbon highlights on the bottom, we have the carbon highlights high voltage. So we actually run carbon at 45 and 45 on the top sheet. So again, adding a lot more energy to this board. It is a little stiffer and a little snappier than the standard Custom.
This is not for your intermediate riders, it's definitely for your advanced riders. You just basically want the Custom, you want that same ride, that same shape, but you want something that's very, very aggressive. The Custom X is definitely the way to go. And the cool thing about it is it's not actually better than the Custom. If you want that little smoother ride, then you want to do just the standard Custom. But again, super, super aggressive ride for that rider that wants to ride everywhere. All right, well, thanks for checking out the Burton All Mtn Ladder for the men's boards for the 22-23 season. If you got any questions about any of the boards that we talked about in this video or any of the Burton stuff that we have at thehouse.com, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we get you into some rad gear, but most importantly, we want to make sure it's actually going to fit you and it's going to fit your riding style. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. Grab yourself a new Burton All Mtn board and get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.